Welcome back to another episode of Offbeat Adventures. We're standing here on the grade of the former Canadian Northern Railway and later Canadian National Railway's Dorion and subsequently Kinghorn subdivision. We're here just on the west side of what is known as Mackenzie Beach Road in the municipality of Shunya, Ontario. And so what we're going to be doing is we're going to be making our way from this spot right here, just on the south side of this road, and we're going to be traveling about 3.5 miles today. To another road crossing. We actually have to cross several roads in the process. We're going to be seeing a bunch of kind of neat things, particularly in the first part of the exploration for today. The second part is a little bit quieter, but there's a few kind of neat things to see right off the hop here. So up on the bike here, and we'll start working our way to the west. It's an okay day today. It's a little bit of a wind. You can see that it's a little bit overcast. It did look like the sun was trying to poke out earlier, but it's kind of clouded up a little bit more. So hopefully everything doesn't appear too dark and dreary on the camera. We're kind of in the middle of October. Today is actually the 15th of October, so we're right smack dab in the middle. It's been very, very warm of late, and we're a little bit behind in terms of fall. There's still some leaves on the tree. We haven't had any frost yet, and so you can still see there's kind of green grass that's growing, and a lot of the low-lying stuff still has its leaves and stuff like that on it. Today is, I don't know what the temperature is right now, but when I was heading out here this morning, it was about 9 degrees Celsius, which is pretty good for this time of the year. Again, we're well above our normal temperatures for this time of the year. Normally it's like 0, -2 at this time of the morning, and 9 degrees is much warmer than it normally is. So we're actually coming up to our first point of interest here as we work our way along. The grade is going to curve here. We're just about to come alongside Lake Superior in a second. Here you're going to see some homes and some people's camps, as we call it. So we're coming through a rock cut here, and so pretty much the rock cut is here on the north side of the grade. And we're actually going to see a pretty large rock cut on the other side of our first attraction here, which is coming up in a minute or two. So you can see this rock cut is fairly high. You can see probably at the top part there, maybe it's pushing over 20 feet at least, maybe in the 25-foot range. So here there's a pretty good curve in the grade as we skirt around that rock ridge. And again, here you can see these homes that we're coming alongside. Right up here you can actually see there's a spot of the grade that's kind of been taken out a little bit, and this has just happened over time as people from the road down here have basically driven their all-terrain vehicles up the side of the grade, and so they've kind of sort of torn out a chunk of the grade, just sort of repetitively going up and down the side of it. So again, here you can see Lake Superior. Again, it would have been nicer if there was at least it was a little bit brighter outside. It's a little bit of wind, so you can see there are some decent sized waves kind of rolling into the beach. So some of these are permanent homes, and some of these are seasonal homes, camps as we call them here in this part of the world. And so our first stop is coming up just right around the corner here. So you can see there's sort of a series of curves, almost kind of like an S curve here, We kind of curved one way and now we're kind of curving back the other, just sort of following the lay of the land here. So our first point of interest is actually a fairly substantial bridge crossing here. And so we're going to be crossing one of the larger rivers in the area. This is known as the Mackenzie River. And so what we'll do is we'll pull up here in a second and then make our way across and go have a look. Okay, here we go. As we make our way across, you can see here another little section of deterioration that's happened. This is basically just either erosion from rain and runoff, as well as people kind of making their way up and down the side of the grade to go down to this nice little piece of beach that's down here. Again, you can see the expanse of, or at least this part of Lake Superior. The thing that you see in the distance there, that is the Sibley Peninsula that culminates in a rock formation that is known as the Sleeping Giant, but I'll talk more about that in a second. You can I'll put a link in the description and you can read a little bit more about the Sleeping Giant. So here we are making our way across. So this is the bridge over the Mackenzie River. I can't quite remember the length of it. I'll put it up on the screen. I believe it's about 82 feet or something like that. It's just a single span girder plate bridge. So here we can see the Mackenzie River. One of the neat things you'll see about this is the bridge is actually super elevated. And what it means by that is because we're kind of on a curve, so the railway grade is kind of curving to the left. There's a tilt to the bridge span itself. So it's kind of tilting to the left itself. So the right side of the bridge is higher than the left side, or at least facing this way. So the south side is higher than the north side. And that basically is just allows the train to stay on the track so it doesn't fly off the tracks as it's kind of negotiating this corner. The bridge itself seems to be in pretty good shape. There was one tie here that was, I just stepped on this one here, wiggled a little bit. So again, you can see the river. And again, the Mackenzie is one of the bigger rivers in the area, and you can see there's nice little rapids here, and there's actually quite a number of rapids that are on the river, and a few waterfalls. You can see there's a fisherman out. Not sure what they're fishing for. There was a guy here earlier when I was coming through in the other direction, and I want to say steelhead, but I could be wrong on that. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to go jump down and we're going to go take a look at the closer view of the side and the underside of the bridge and kind of get a little bit better view of the lake, and then we'll come back up on the grade and just keep plugging our way along to the west. All right, so we've made our way down here to the level of the river and the lake. It is actually 2 years after we filmed the original segment, and the reason why we came back here is because there's some new information about this bridge and something that happened here. So we originally shot the video in October of 2021. It is now October of 2023. So you can see the bridge here beside us. And so we are on the southeast corner, and here you can see the expanse of Lake Superior. It's a beautiful morning. It's kind of a little bit on the crisp side. The lake here is very, very calm. There's a bit of a wind, but we seem to be a little bit sheltered here. You can kind of see the back end just behind that island of the Sleeping Giant, the Sibley Peninsula here. So Lake Superior, largest of the Great Lakes, and for the indigenous people who have inhabited here for thousands of years, Gitchigami, the big sea water. So you can see at a nice side profile here of the bridge structure itself. You can see the extensive concrete abutments that are showing quite a bit of deterioration. You can see the girder span here, the deck plate girder span of the bridge itself. There's no date stamp on there, at least, or one that I can see. This basically tells us that it's likely an original structure. So this was built when the railway line was built between 1911 and 1914. Obviously, they would needed a sizable structure here for basically the size of this river. It's a pretty big river, the Mackenzie. You can see here, if we get a little bit closer, you can actually see the metal cladding down here on the bottom to basically protect the concrete from the ice and debris that will tend to hit it, particularly in the winter and in the spring. So the reason why we came back here to film this video is because, and we're going to see this on the other side, is because one of the things we were sort of questioning about was sort of this debris. And on the other side, just over there, just kind of on the northwest corner, you're actually going to see this big metal eye bolt. And I didn't quite understand what the purpose of that eye bolt was. And after I had done the video and I had taken some photos, I got some information from a guy by the name of Greg. Greg used to work for CN, worked for a time on this line, and he had told me that that eye bolt had been put in place basically to assist in the recovery of equipment after a derailment. And so what ends up happening is this summer, I got some information, and thanks to Pam for this, that there was in fact a massive washout that happened here in 1970. So just around this time in 1970, gotta grab my cheater notes here. So the derailment took place on October 28th, 1970. Basically what had happened was that there was a let go of water. I don't know if there was a big rainstorm or if a beaver dam let go. And so there was a huge rush of water down the river here. And what ended up happening was it didn't take out the actual span itself. It actually washed out this whole area right here on the east side of the grade. And so, unfortunately, there was an incoming train. And somebody did actually try to stop the train from hitting the washout. And unfortunately, even though they applied emergency braking, it wasn't in time, and basically the lead part of the train plunged into the washed out area, and so 2 locomotives and 5 boxcars ended up falling in there. The 3 crew members were injured. Fortunately, they recovered, so it was not a fatal accident. But essentially, you can see that this area here, this has all been repaired. So all of this debris that they've dumped in here, you can see that they've actually thrown like poured concrete as well. This was all done to repair this area from the washout. And so if you go on my website, and there's a link in the description here, and so the next station up is Silver Harbour, you're going to find some information about this derailment. You can actually see some newspaper articles from the local paper, and they have some photographs, and I have a photograph as well that was provided to me by Pam. And so you can basically see this whole area is just completely washed out, because you can see the abutment here. You can see the abutment, and everything over here is all gone, right? So this whole area right here, right in through here, is all just completely washed out. All right. Okay, so let's make our way down to the northwest corner and have a look from there. All right, so we're down here on the northwest corner. We are right beside the river here. You can see the river makes a pretty sharp bend here. Considerably less water than when we were here back 2 years ago. We've had a pretty dry fall, and so there isn't a great deal of water in the river itself. And so here you can see the structure from the other side. It's going to be completely backlit. There's not much I can do about that. The sun is just sort of poking out. You can see that there's kind of broken cloud in the sky. So again, when they constructed this bridge, it would have been a pretty sizable task to construct it. It is a pretty large structure, which we're already indicated. We can kind of move out pretty far into the Luna's trying to walk around here. Your nails screeching on the rocks. So again, it's a pretty sizable structure. So it would have been quite a bit of engineering work to construct this, to construct the concrete abutments on the bridge. So we're gonna make our way over here, and you can see the eye bolt that I was referring to. So we'll come here. Oh. And so there's the eye bolt. I don't know if there's any other ones lying around. You can see over there, you can see quite a bit of, I know it's kind of black, backlit. You can see quite a bit of rock that's been placed over there on the other side, again, just to repair all that washout area. So you can imagine the water kind of rushing down and sort of coming through there and hitting that area right there. So here we can see the side of the structure. There's Luna up there having a look at us. So we'll make our way back up. Okay, so we'll pause here momentarily, and what we're going to do is we're going to resume our journey to the west towards Silver Harbour momentarily.